It is 10 o'clock at night. The hallway outside the bedroom is mostly quiet, save for the low, steady hum of the air conditioner and the muffled clinking of plates as your husband washes the last of the dinner dishes in the kitchen sink down the hall. You are sitting on the edge of the mattress, bathed in the dim amber glow of a small nightlight plugged into the corner wall. Your toddler is standing right in front of you, on the bed. They are fighting sleep with every ounce of energy left in their tiny, exhausted body. They suddenly grab their favorite soft yellow blanket and toss it onto the wooden floor. Their eyes are rimmed with red, heavy, and blinking slowly, yet their small fists are tightly clenched in absolute rigid resistance to the idea of lying down. Most of us look at this frustrating midnight battle and think that a child's intelligence is built strictly during the day. We assume their brain grows when they are sitting on the living room rug, stacking wooden blocks, or looking at brightly colored picture books with their older sibling. But the truth is far more fascinating and a little bit hidden. That immature, beautiful, chaotic brain is actually doing its most critical cognitive upgrading in the exact 15 minutes before they finally surrender to sleep. Tonight, we are going to explore 4 secret phrases that many Japanese mothers whisper in the dark during this exact twilight hour. These are not magic spells designed to force a stubborn child to instantly close their eyes. They are invisible emotional anchors. They are carefully chosen words designed to flip a physiological switch inside the body. They help the child's nervous system transition from a state of defensive, rigid hyperalertness into a state of deep, structural memory consolidation. Many nights, when you sit there watching your child toss and turn, kicking the tangled cotton sheets away for the 5th time, you might feel a heavy, cold knot forming in your chest. You start to ask yourself if you failed at setting a good bedtime routine today. You wonder if you were not disciplined enough when they refused to eat their vegetables at dinner, or if you let them watch too much television while grandma was visiting. Let us put that heavy parental guilt away right now. A young child's circadian rhythm is still incredibly fragile and unformed. When the boundary between being awake and falling asleep approaches, their brain feels a sudden, terrifying loss of physical control. They are not fighting you because they are trying to be difficult or manipulative. They are fighting the deep vulnerability of letting go of consciousness, and they are desperately looking for a steady emotional anchor to hold onto in the dark. This brings us to the very first phrase you can whisper into the quiet room. Kumo gambata ne. In English, this roughly translates to telling them, you tried really hard today, or you did your best today. Think about what usually happens in our own bodies when we are dead tired. We tend to rush the process of putting them to bed. We pat their back a little too fast, our own breathing shallow and hurried, and we say something rushed like, just go to sleep, it is getting so late, mommy is tired too. But telling a stressed, overloaded brain to just go to sleep only spikes their cortisol. Cortisol is the exact stress hormone that keeps their heart racing and their eyes wide open. When you lower your voice, slow your breath, and say, you tried really hard today, you are doing something profound for their nervous system. You are acknowledging their tiny, frustrating daily battles. Maybe they tried to put on their own stiff, cold canvas shoes this morning and failed, crying in the hallway while the neighbor walked past carrying groceries. Maybe they had a massive meltdown at the grocery store this afternoon when their dad gently said no to a brightly wrapped candy bar. To us adults, those events are just minor, annoying hiccups in a busy schedule. To them, with their brand new nervous systems, those moments were overwhelming emotional marathons. Hearing you softly validate their effort releases pent-up physical tension trapped in their muscles. You might actually feel their little shoulders drop beneath your hands. You might hear their breathing shift from quick, shallow gasps to a deeper, slower rhythm just by acknowledging how hard they worked to navigate the world today. Then comes the second phrase, which is often paired with a slow, rhythmic, predictable touch. Itsumo miteru, I am always watching over you. This specific phrase is a lifeline for the child who tightly grips your shirt collar. It is for the baby whose eyes snap wide open in sheer panic the second you try to slowly, silently inch away from the edge of the bed. At this stage of development, their amygdala, which acts as the brain's primitive fire alarm system, is constantly scanning the shadows of the room for threats. To a toddler, physical separation from you is the ultimate biological threat. When you place a warm hand flat on their chest, letting them feel the steady rise and fall of your own breathing, and whisper that you are always watching over them, you are speaking a secret language directly to their survival brain. you are establishing what psychologists call a secure base. You are essentially telling their nervous system that this dim room is safe enough to completely power down the alarm. A child simply cannot process complex cognitive tasks or consolidate daily memories if their brain is terrified of being abandoned in the dark. I remember speaking to a pediatric nurse who told me how parents often try to sneak out of the room like ninjas, which only makes the child's brain more hypervigilant the next night. Instead, by using this phrase, you are letting them know that your love, your protection, and your presence do not simply vanish into thin air just because the overhead lights go out. Once their breathing finally slows and their tiny fingers release their tight grip on your collar, you can move to the third phrase. Omoido shimaune. This beautifully translates to, let us put our memories away for the day. This is where the actual cognitive magic happens beneath the surface. During the day, a child's brain is rapidly collecting millions of raw, unprocessed data points. They touched a rough piece of tree bark while walking the family dog at the noisy neighborhood park. They carefully watched their grandmother pour steaming hot tea into a fragile ceramic cup after lunch. They heard the loud, startling beep of a large delivery truck backing into the driveway. All of these daily experiences are just scattered, chaotic puzzle pieces floating around in their exhausted short-term memory. When you softly whisper about putting the day's memories away, you are gently prompting their brain to begin the crucial biological process of memory consolidation. You might briefly recount one or two specific, happy and calm moments from the afternoon. You could whisper, I really loved watching you build that tall block tower with Daddy in the living room today. You are literally helping their brain learn how to categorize and file away these experiences into long-term structural storage. This exact neurological filing system is the foundational building block for advanced logic, critical thinking, and a high intelligence quotient. A child who feels guided through this chaotic mental sorting process will always wake up with a clearer, more organized mind ready to absorb complex cognitive information. Finally, right as their heavy eyelids begin to close for good and the house settles into complete stillness, you offer the fourth phrase. Ashita mo tanashimi dane. Tomorrow is going to be so much fun, is it not? Many young children fight sleep because they suffer from a primal, deep-seated fear of missing out. They truly believe that closing their eyes means the permanent end of all the wonderful play and warm connection they experienced with you. You can hear the grandfather clock ticking softly in the downstairs hallway, marking the quiet end of the day. By anchoring their fragile thoughts to a joyful anticipation of tomorrow, you gently pull their racing mind away from any lingering shadows or strange noises in the dark bedroom. You give them a beautiful, comforting reason to safely let go of their fierce grip on consciousness. They fall asleep expecting good things, which significantly lowers their baseline anxiety and builds a deeply optimistic, secure worldview. Raising a child is not about perfectly controlling a tiny, unpredictable human being. It is about quietly walking alongside a rapidly growing, highly sensitive nervous system. I know there are nights that feel endlessly, painfully long. There are nights when the glowing red numbers on the digital clocks strike 2 in the morning, the entire neighborhood is dead silent, and you just want to collapse from sheer physical exhaustion. But please remember that a quiet, patient touch in the dark can speak volumes more to your child than a dozen rushed, impatient lullabies. Your calmness does not always erase their midnight storm instantly, but it always gives them a warm, safe harbor to return to when the waves get too high. If this gentle approach to parenting resonated with your tired soul tonight, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. Tell me what secret, comforting phrases you whisper to your own children when the rest of the world is fast asleep. We are all navigating this beautiful, exhausting journey of parenthood together. And if your child sometimes wakes up screaming in the middle of the night, staring right through you in absolute terror without making any sense, you will not want to miss our next video. The scientific truth behind those 3 in the morning night terrors might completely change the way you look at your child's sudden midnight cries forever.